Hi, okay, today we're going to go over setting up dimensional analysis problems in order to do conversions. And trust me, if you set this up this exact same way, no matter how complicated or how easy the problem is, this can never steer you wrong. So I'm going to show you, this might be sort of a simple problem, but I'm going to show you the entire way to set this up from beginning to end, because once these problems become more complicated, you can still set them up the exact same way and it won't steer you wrong. Okay, so we have a 500 milliliter graduated cylinder has 295 milliliters of alcohol. So we have 295 milliliters of alcohol. And it doesn't really matter the fact that it's a 500 milliliter graduated cylinder. That doesn't really have anything to do with anything. It's just that it's a big container. So in this big container, you have 295 milliliters of alcohol. And then if 15 centiliters of water, H2O, is added, what is the final volume in liters? So what I want to do first when you're doing these word problems, you want to find out where the question is in this word problem. What is the question? And the question usually has to do with how many. So where is the how many in this question? And it would be down here at the end. It says, what is the final volume in liters? So how many liters is the question that you want to answer from this word problem. So how many liters? We're going to rewrite this how many liters, and we're going to put a question mark for how many because we don't know, and then we're going to put liters. So question mark liters equals, and what is it going to equal? It's going to equal this 15 centiliters of water and this 295 milliliters of alcohol uh, mixed together. So this question mark liters is going to equal the 15 centiliters plus 295 milliliters. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So what I'm doing here is I'm writing this out in um, in a way that has an equal sign in it. I'm setting this question mark, this question, how many liters, I'm setting that to an equal sign, and I'm putting the other stuff on the other side of the equal sign so we can get sort of a mathematical formula going here, and we don't have to get bogged down with the word problems, the words and the word problems, because word problems will always trip you up. Now, if you notice, we have different measurements here. We have liters, we have centiliters, and we have milliliters. So what we need to do is we need to change all of this so they all end up being liters, because that's what the question mark is. The question mark is how many liters. So we need to change these centiliters and these milliliters into liters, and then we can do the math problem and just a simple little addition math problem, and we can find out how many liters is in there. So I'll show you, and I can send you this chart. I have this chart here, and see, this chart is based on the prefixes. If you look at centi down here, centi means 1/100ths. And that's because centi, if you think of cent, 1 cent. So 1 cent is 1/100ths of a dollar. Or you could put it another way, 100 cents equals $1. Okay, so 100 centis of something is going to equal 1 of whatever that something is. So 100 cents is going to equal $1. 100 centimeters is going to equal 1 meter. 100 centiliters is going to equal 1 liter. So let's go back to our problem here. So we know that 100 centiliters is going to equal 1 liter because the centiliters are a lot smaller than the liter. Okay, now we also have this milliliter right here, and we need to change that milliliter into liters. So let's go back and look at our table again. And here is milliliters down here. And milliliters is 1/1000th of a liter. So that means 1,000 milliliters equals 1 liter. So we're going to go ahead and put that on our data table down here with our formula. And you notice that I'm writing everything with an equal sign attached to it. So 1,000 milliliters equals 1 liter. So now as you can see, we don't have to worry about a word problem anymore. I have this data table, and in this data table there are 3 different rows, and they all have equal signs in them. They're all something is set to another number is equal to another number. Now that we've done that, we can go ahead and set this up using dimensional analysis, which if you get used to this, it might be weird at first, but once you get used to this, half of your math problems that you're going to do in chemistry, and if you go along into nursing or anything, is going to be dimensional analysis. So it's a really good idea to get used to this. We need to convert this 15 centiliters into liters. Well, we have our conversion factor is right here. 100 centiliters equals 1 liter. So what are we going to do? We're going to say how many liters equals 15 centiliters. So we're going to put 15 centiliters. That's how much we know we have. Oh, and you just put it over 1. And I put it over 1 because we're going to have fraction bars out here. And if you put it over 1, it just keeps everything straight and it keeps you from getting confused later. Like some teachers will just sit there and write 15 centiliters times. But I find that it's a lot easier to keep you to not get confused if you put it over 1. So 15 centiliters over 1 times, and then draw a fraction bar. Now we're going to go up and look at what unit of measurement did we just write up on the top of this fraction bar. This is centiliters. So we're going to take this same unit of measurement and we're going to bring it down on the bottom of this new fraction bar, centiliters. And now we're going to go up and look at our data table and find out where else it mentions centiliters, which is right here. 100 centiliters equals a liter. So we have 100 centiliters. We're going to write that down here next to our centiliters. And whatever is on the opposite side of the equal sign in this row, which is 1 liter, we're going to put on the top of this fraction bar, 1 liter. So now we can go through and we can cancel out our centiliters because there's a centiliter on top of a fraction bar and a centiliter on the bottom of the fraction bar, and so those cancel each other out. So we can cross these out and cross this out, and this just ends up giving us 15 times 1 liter over 1 times 100, and that's if you just multiply across. So 15 times 1 liter is 15 liters, and 1 times 100 is 100. So if you get out your calculator and you take 15 divided by 100, That's going to give you 0.015 liters. So now we know that this 15 centiliters is the same thing as 0.015 liters. Now we need to do this with milliliters. We need to do this with the 295 milliliters. We need to convert that into liters. So how many liters equals 295 milliliters? Okay, so we have this question mark. How many liters equals 295 milliliters? So we're going to start with what we know. What we know is that we have 295 milliliters, and we're just going to put that over 1, and then we're going to write a multiply sign and a fraction bar. Now, what is the unit of measurement that we just put on the top of this fraction? The 295? It's milliliters. We put milliliters up there. So we're going to just bring this down and put milliliters down here on the bottom. And then we're going to look back up at our data chart and see the row that has milliliters in it, which is right here. 1,000 milliliters equals 1 liter. So we're going to take that 1,000 milliliters and we're going to put it down here with the milliliters. And whatever is on the other side of the equal sign up here, the 1 liter, we're just going to pop that on top of the fraction bar, 1 liter. Now we can go ahead and cancel our units of measurement that are diagonally across from each other, one on the top and one on the bottom. So we have a milliliter on the top, milliliter on the bottom. And that just leaves us with 295 times 1 liter over 1 times 1,000. So that's going to give us 295 liters over 1,000. So if you pop that in your calculator and you take 295 divided by 1,000, you're going to end up getting 0.0295. And don't forget to carry the liters over, liters. So now we have successfully converted all of these volumes into liters. So now we can actually do the problem, because we couldn't do the problem before because one was in centiliters, one was in milliliters, and the other one was in liters. You have to get them all in the same unit of measurement. So now we've gotten them all in the same unit of measurement. We've gotten them all liters. Now, it's always very important, don't let them trick you, because they'll try to trick you in chemistry and they'll give you different units of measurement like centiliters and liters and milliliters, and they'll try to trick you into doing the math problem. But before you do the math problem, you have to convert all of those into one. Just pick one thing, and I picked liters, so you just got to convert all of that into liters. So we had the 15 centiliters, and that equals 0.015 liters. And we had the 295 milliliters, and that equals the 0.295 liters. So now we have all of these in liters. And of course the original thing was that we're trying to find the final volume in liters. So if we remember, you go back up to this question mark statement we had at the beginning. How many liters, question mark liters, equals 15 centiliters plus 295 milliliters? Well, now we can actually do that problem. How many liters equals, but we're not going to write down 15 centiliters. We're going to write down 0.015 liters plus, and we're not going to write down 295 milliliters. We're going to write down 0 plus 295 liters. So now we can add all these together. we can add all these together and come up with the amount of liters that this has. So this would be 0.310 liters. And so that would be the final volume in liters.